Zecaria Sitchin was an author and scholar who wrote The 12th Planet and other books based on ancient Sumerian clay tablets. He was one of the few scholars who could read and interpret those Sumerian tablets, and he claimed that the Anunnaki were a race of extraterrestrial beings from the undiscovered planet Nibiru who arrived on Earth about 500,000 years ago in search of gold. According to Sitchin, the Anunnaki used genetic engineering to create the Homo erectus to be their workers. Sitchin claimed that the Anunnaki were forced to leave Earth when the Antarctic glaciers melted due to the passage of their home planet Nibiru, causing the biblical flood, which also destroyed the Anunnaki's bases on Earth and forced them to rebuild them. According to Sitchin, the Anunnaki built the pyramids and all the other monumental structures around the world that ancient astronaut theorists consider impossible to build without highly advanced technologies. Sitchin also claimed that the Anunnaki had left behind human-alien hybrids, some of whom are still alive today, despite them being unaware of their alien origins. Sitchin wrote several books about the Anunnaki, predicting that they would return to Earth. Unfortunately, Sitchin's writings have been universally dismissed by historians as pseudo-history. Although Sitchin himself described the Anunnaki as humanoid, many conspiracy theorists propose that they are actually reptilians, and that the surviving alien bloodlines mentioned by Sitchin were those of the Brotherhood of Babylon, a race of shape-shifting reptilian aliens who secretly control all the world's governments and keep humans in slavery, using those at the top as their figurative chess pieces. There was a time, the Sumerians said, when civilized man was not yet on Earth, when animals were wild and undomesticated, and the plants were not cultivated. In that distant era, a group of 50 Anunnaki arrived on Earth. Led by a chief named Ea, meaning one whose home is water, they traveled from their planet Nibiru, the planet of the crossing, and upon reaching Earth, they dove into the waters of the Persian Gulf. A text, known to scholars as the Myth of Ea and the Earth, describes how the first group walked ashore, only to find themselves in a swamp. Their first task was to drain the marshy land, clear the streams and creeks, and ascertain the sources of food, which turned out to be fish and birds. They then began to make bricks from the mud of the earth and founded the first extraterrestrial settlement on the planet. They called their city Eridu, which means home in the distance or home away from home. This name gave rise to the name Earth in the oldest languages, 445,000 years ago. The astronauts' mission was to extract gold from the waters of the Gulf, a gold necessary for survival on Nibiru, which would be used to stabilize the planet, which was rapidly losing its atmosphere, thus endangering all life on it. However, the plan proved impractical, and the leaders on the home planet decided that gold could best be obtained by mining where it was abundant, in southeastern Africa. However, the plan called for a substantial increase in the number of Anunnaki on Earth, and in time they numbered 600. There was also a need for an elaborate operation to ship the refined gold and deliver assorted supplies. To this end, 300 Nibiruans were employed as Ijiji, watchers, operating orbital platforms and cargo spacecraft. The ruler of Nibiru, and the celestial Anu in Akkadian, came to Earth to oversee the expanded presence and installation operations. He was accompanied by two of his sons, Enlil, Lord of Command, a strict disciplinarian, to serve as Chief of Operations, and a daughter, Ninmah, Mighty Lady, as Chief Medical Officer. The division of duties between the pioneer Ea and the newcomer Enlil proved difficult, and at one point in the impasse, Anu felt inclined to stay on Earth and let one of his sons act as viceroy on Nibiru. Eventually, the three came to an agreement. Enlil's mission was to remain at the initial landing zone and expand it to Eden, home of the righteous. His task was to establish additional camps, each with a specific function: a spaceport, a mission control center, a metallurgical center, a medical center, and landing sites. Ea's task was to establish the mining operation in southeastern Africa, a task for which he, as an exceptional scientist, was well suited. The fact that the task was up to his skill did not mean that Ea enjoyed it, for it kept him apart from the others. As compensation for the transfer, he was given the title name Enki, Lord of Earth. Enlil may have thought this was merely a symbolic title. Enki, however, took it seriously. Although they were both sons of Anu, they were only half-brothers. Enki was the firstborn and would normally have succeeded his father to the throne. But Enlil was the son of Anu by his half-sister. According to the rules of succession on Nibiru, this made Enlil the heir royal, even if he was not the firstborn. Now the two brothers found themselves on another planet, facing a potential conflict. If their mission on Earth were to become prolonged, perhaps to the point of establishing a permanent colony on another planet, who would be the ultimate authority, the Lord of Earth or the Lord of Command? In fact, I do not think that the answer has yet been given. You can research this knowledge in the book The 12th Planet by Zecaria Sitchin, or you can follow our channel to obtain these teachings and draw your own conclusions. Be a supporter of our channel. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thank you for being here.